Dave Smith.
Okay, can I respond to some of this, Pierce? Because as I always insist when I come on your show, it's always ironically, I get called a moral relativist when I criticize Israel, but I'm the one who's always asking for an objective standard here that we can judge all sides on. Because it's just, yeah, you can just focus on the horrible things that Iran did in the 1980 war with Iraq, which Saddam Hussein launched, and the U.S. backed Saddam Hussein as he was using chemical weapons. And
so that justifies using children to walk into minefields.
No, that is not what I'm saying.
Okay,
let
so
me
what
finish
are you
my point here. Instead of just straw manning, well, I was about to say, so
okay.
let me finish it. Okay. By the way, Israel never killed any children, as you know, Pierce, right? They have the most.
Israel is not sending its own children into minefields. It's a massive difference.
Okay, Constantine, let me finish my point, and then you can respond to it and see if you can take it on. Now, when you sit here and say that they've been at war with Iran since October 7th because Hamas is their proxies. What exactly, proxy means that I would think you have operational control over them or something like that.
Well, actually, let me explain what I think that means, because I've been arguing that point in terms of understanding where Israel comes from on this, which is that there can be no doubt, I don't think, Dave, you would cast doubt on this, that Iran has financially and militarily given active and sustained support for a number of years to Hezbollah, to the Houthis, and to Hamas. I mean, you wouldn't dispute that.
Right. So, Pierce, then by your logic and Constantine's logic, is Israel our proxy? They just attacked Iran.
Well, I would say that Israel is actually, you could well argue, given the amount of support that America gives Israel militarily and economically, yes.
Fine.
I mean, look, but one person's ally is another person's
Can I make some points on this?
Hold on. Let me just...
Yeah, but so I think ally, proxy,
can I flesh out your... Dave, I'm very happy to hear a counter-argument. Can I just flesh out Pierce's point a little bit, if that's okay? So here's what we know. According to the State Department's own figures, Iran gives Hamas about $100 million a year, latest figures. They've been funding Hamas since the early 1990s. Yahya Sinwar said in 2017 that Iran is the single biggest military and financial backer of Hamas's military wing. In September 2023, a month before October the 7th, 500 Hamas fighters and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters were being trained by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard abroad. I can't remember if it's in Lebanon or in Iran proper. And there are numerous chronicled, documented meetings between senior commanders of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Hamas and Hezbollah fighters in the lead up to it. What do you think they were doing? Talking about world peace and swapping hummus recipes? This is something that they've been involved in very heavily, and they continue to be involved in. And Hamas and Hezbollah are the sword hanging over Israel's neck that Iran has used in order to prevent the very thing that's happening now.
Dave?
Okay, so to be clear here, it's an outrage that Iran has sold weapons and given money to Hamas, and therefore Hamas is their proxy. Yet, as we all know, Pierce, and me and you have discussed this, 2 weeks before October 7th, Benjamin Netanyahu sends the head of Mossad to Qatar to make sure that the funding to Hamas continues. Yet, is Hamas now a proxy of Israel? Is Israel at war with itself?